In this podcast, we have Mudra with us. She's currently working in the product team of Sprinkler. So I had seen couple of her LinkedIn posts and I thought I should bring her to our podcast. And her posts on LinkedIn were very interesting. She had shared a lot of things on how to break into product, what are the resources and how to crack interview rounds and much more. So thanks a lot Mudra for coming here. If you can give a quick introduction to your audience about you, it would be helpful.
Thanks for having me, Manoj. Hi, everyone. I'm Mudra. I'm currently working as a senior product analyst at Sprinkler. Outside of work, I love dancing. I create content on Instagram and I also share my experience about breaking into product management and my job and college life experiences on LinkedIn. And there is one mantra that I follow by that if you want to achieve a goal, there are just two things that you need. One is the determination and second is the commitment. So if you have these two, then I think you can achieve any goal that you want. More about like my product management journey is what we'll unfold in this podcast. So excited for sharing anything and everything that I've learned.
I think the journey was interesting. So you have a combination of things like work and extracurricular activities too. So first generic question I have is, so let's say product management is a very complex field. When I talk to people, they have different definitions. So what according to you is product management?
I think the interpretation is different for different people. I have like two takes on it. One is the very generic definition, very technical part. That is, a product manager is the epicenter of business, design, and tech, right? So you sit in the middle of all of them. And a funny take to it, which is how I like to interpret, is that you are the person who is not responsible for anything yet responsible for everything. So product manager is someone who doesn't have to code, who doesn't have to design, neither you have to speak to the customers, right, for the sales or business side. But still, how all these three interplay together is what your role is. So I think as a product manager, it is very important to you that how you define your journey and put your foot amongst all these roles that are intermerging with each other.
The one you told is interesting, right? You are not responsible for everything, but you are. I'm able to relate to that a lot. But one common problem that people have is, let's say I want to get into product management. Let's say I'm not from an MBA background, I'm from engineering, or I'm from any other like arts background too, like I've done BA, BSc, etc. So how can I build proof of work as a product manager?
If you see my journey also, I have done my engineering in chemical, then switched to being a developer, and then I came into product. So it wasn't like that I have done an MBA in order to become product manager, and neither do I think that it is absolute necessary for that. One very important thing is to build your proof of work is just imagine yourself that today you are a product manager, for example, at WhatsApp, and what will you do if you are a product manager at WhatsApp? So for example, that you will be defining what features need to be built. You would be deciding the product roadmap of WhatsApp. You would then be brainstorming it with the engineers, with your other product managers in the team, and consequently bringing the picture into live. So what I believe is that it is very important to see the journey, put yourself into shoes of a product manager, and then actually start working on it. So I'll backtrack my journey. I'll see what's needed to be a product manager, and then I try to practice all those things so that when I get that job, I already know and I'm prepared for it. I think it is very important to understand what a product manager role requires and demands of you. And once you know that, then actually prepare for it. So no, not an MBA degree. It does not depend on which background you come from, but it is very important to have a basic knowledge of tech, design, business, so that you can work in collaboration with them.
Basically, like first breaking down the roles and responsibilities and then building proof of works according to that.
So I think I would divide it into two parts. See, first thing I believe is that nothing can replace the real life experience that you have. So getting a internship is one of the most like best way if you want to show proof of work, because any recruiter, if they see that you have already worked in a similar role before, whether internship or something close to that, then there is nothing beats that. Second thing is, if you are not able to do an internship, you are already in a job where you want to transition into product management, or you're not able to get an internship, is build a proof of work, do case studies, participate in case study competitions, because when you are doing that, you are not only improving your skill of being a product manager, but you're also building a proof of work for yourself. For example, if a recruiter comes and asks you, I cannot see any experience for you in PM domain, which is very important, then why should we hire you? You can instead tell them that although I don't have any internship experience, but this is what I have done. Like, there can be case studies, there can be side projects, right? Just observe products in your day-to-day life. For example, I would just pick up Instagram per se, and I would create a case study around that what is currently in Instagram that I don't like, what are the three things that I would want to improve, and then I would build a solution around it. So I'm not actually doing it being an Instagram, but I'm doing it from an outsider perspective, and people would respect that you are taking steps into it, you are observing products into your day-to-day life, and then you are quite building a proof of work for yourself.
Let's say if I want to build any specific projects, or so, what are the examples of proof of works or projects that a aspiring product manager or someone who's trying to break into can build?
So, if you are a college student and you are trying to go for a product manager role, one path is the campus placements that we all know. For that, your resume needs to stand out. Now, in your resume, product management is basically a combination of soft and hard skills. So, there is no particular hard skill that will guarantee you a product management job, but I would say just pick one skill. For example, you should know basic wireframing, like either you have used Figma or Canva, just a basic one. Don't be an expert in that. Know one data analytics tool. Either you can be very proficient at Excel, or SQL or anything like that. Have a basic knowledge of APIs. So these are the hard skills, so that you at least can say that you are not just having only your soft skills, but you have hard skills also to prove that and to bring them into life. On the soft skills part, I would say college societies, they play a crucial role if you want to define that you are good in any soft skill. For example, if I have led any major fest in my college, or I was part of any club, they would be judging. I can relate that to, see, I have had that leadership responsibility where I have led a team or a group of 10 people, and I have single-handedly managed the collaboration between them. Because in your product management interviews, you will get the questions like how you dealt with tough situations, how were you dealing when your teammates were not collaborating with each other, what's your biggest achievement. So that's when in your resume, when you have such experiences for your clubs or societies, they will help you to relate the two, right? That this is my real life experience, this is how I organized a particular competition in my college, and these were the hurdles, how I achieved it. So they will show your communication skills, your stakeholder management skills, the leadership skills that you entail. So first is the roles and the POR, right? Try to have at least one so that you can relate it in your PM role and show that you have experience. Second, I would say is for the project section, try to have a side project, build a side project. Just find a companion, right? Your friend who codes or who is in the development domain, so that you can brainstorm ideas, you can prepare a roadmap, sort of have an MVP, and he can develop it. Or just like by yourself also, if there's any problem and any solution you are figuring out for that. For example, there can be a problem like that in my college. A lot of stray dogs, they had increased, and they were biting people, and it was not a good experience. So this is the problem that I discovered, and this was how I thought about how I can deal with it, and these were the steps that I took. So this is a very good side project to show, right, that how in real life you are putting your PM skills to test. And the third one is, I think, in internships, right? If there is any internship that you can get, not even a product manager, just pitch startups, right? That just pitch anyone on LinkedIn that can I work with you for like a month or so? I'm interested in this role. It can be a founder's office role. It can be a product analyst role. It doesn't necessarily have to be a product management role, but if you have that experience, and that's also a very good point to showcase your resume. So I think, to be very concise, I think I would just focus on those three parts: the projects, the experiences, like the internships, and the third one would be any college PORs that I can have, because that's a very great way to just tie in your soft and your hard skills together.
Got it. So now, let's say once a person has built a proof of work, the next step is resume, right? So what are the kinds of things they should put in the resume? So let's say I would have, in some cases, I would have done other activities too in college, like I would have been in clubs, etc. How can I make the resume in such a way I relate the experience I have done to product management and converting, showing it to the recruiter that I'm interested in the role and I match for the position?
So I think one very important point is I have seen people jumping into job search strategy without being fully prepared for the role. They've just heard the buzzwords around the PM that you just need to attend meetings, you need to talk to people, and if you are good at it, then you are good to go. But I have a very contrary opinion here, that if today I'm applying for a job, then I should know that if I can get an interview scheduled even tomorrow. So I need to be fully prepared that if today I'm applying, I can have an interview tomorrow, and I need to have that level of preparation intact, because there are limited opportunities for freshers and you need to be very well prepared. I don't say that anyone is 100% prepared, but at least knowing that you have basics right so that you start applying for the job. I think first is that thing. I wanted to just get it out of the way before you start applying. The very great way, see, I have received all my offers on campus through placements. So I particularly myself haven't gone through that domain of applying outside campus. But because I have been writing on LinkedIn a lot, so I know what the strategy can be if you want to go via that way. First is, I think if you have your on-campus placements, prepare for that, right? That is the easiest way, because college has the responsibility of getting you that job, and there is a very clear, crisp process towards it. If you are going through an off-campus route, LinkedIn is a very good tool. Just in the job alert category, you have that job button in the LinkedIn, right? Just type in your role, associate product manager or product analyst, choose a location and set job alerts for yourself, because there every day 5 to 6 new postings keep coming, where companies ranging from mid-size to small-scale startups to big companies, they hire for product managers. Then just don't go and apply over there and leave it that okay, now I'll get a recruiter call, because that easy apply option, everybody uses that. Like, they have 1,000 applicants coming in daily, and that does not stand you out. So first of all, my first thing is you find a job through that job alert section, easy apply on it. Then find the hiring manager, because anytime a job is posted, there is the hiring manager profile also who has posted that opening. Just go and connect with that hiring manager. You have an option of sending a connection request with a note. So just give a friendly note that I came across this job opening. I am from this background and I'm really interested in it. And apart from that, just not restrict yourself to them. Find out 10 more people in the same company. I would go by this priority. First, people who are from my same college, because there are greater chances that they would reply to me. Second would be people who are in product management domain and whose team is hiring. And the third would be people who are in the HR domain. Now, just send a connection request to all these people, or send in mails on LinkedIn. They will take time. Usually, if you're not that active on LinkedIn, they take 1 to 2 weeks to accept it. Then once they've accepted your request, take it a step forward. Ask them if they can refer you, or you can share your resume, or what the company culture is about. Try to be very polite, because you are asking for a favor from someone unknown. So I think this is the first strategy, right? That go through LinkedIn, have friendly connections, approach people, try to get a referral, or try to at least bring someone to the position that they can get you connected directly with the hiring team. This is the best strategy I think that has worked for me. Apart from that, second thing can be if you know people from your college who are product managers at some companies, or they are in any role and that company is hiring for PMs, you can just go and text them on WhatsApp, have a call with them and ask them that whatever experience you have, can they help to get you referred. That's also a very good way of converting people, by using your own connections that you have in that domain. And the third process can be other job searching tools, right? What I generally do is, if I want to apply to a startup, I'll see which companies have funded those startups, what are the venture capitals. For example, if I have Sequoia, then I'll go on Sequoia's website and see, okay, Sequoia has funded these many companies recently, and they might be in a position to hire because they have just received a funding. So I'll go and reach out to them, although they don't have a job opening, but I'll cold DM them. So that's also a good way. And the fourth is, many other job searching portals are there, right? Like Angel One, Naukri.com. You can go and you can find relevant openings there as well.
Got it. I think three main things, right? So that's very important. And I also like the part that many of the people aim only at product role. They can also think of other roles around product, right? Some management role or techno management role, like program manager and all, and try to get in and then showcase that experience and then transition, right? So that was a very important point. Yeah. So the next question I had is, so let's say once someone has their resume ready, they have their proof of work ready. So now I have to start applying for job. So how should someone plan their job search strategy?
I'll just explain it step by step. First is a recruiter call. Generally, the hiring manager would call you or would reach out to you asking that, hey, just a quick introduction from your side that why do you want to apply, what your experience has been. Now, it can vary, right? You can be in college or you can already be working in any other domain. So, accordingly, your answer should be you should be well prepared that if you have applied, anytime a recruiter call can come to you. Second step would be generally they would share a case study with you. They will give you a problem statement and they will ask you, hey, you have like 2 to 3 days, can you prepare a deck on it explaining what your solution to that problem would be, and you need to prepare that deck and submit it. Here is the part when I would say you need to show your proactiveness. Try doing it as soon as possible. Do all your research, and if they are saying that submit in 3 days, I would say submit it in 2 days, because that would show that you are very much interested and that job is your top priority. After these two stages, next would be, if you get shortlisted, there would be technical rounds. Now, depending on what kind of company you are applying to, there can be 3 to 4 technical rounds. As I've seen in Sprinkler, I had 4 technical rounds in a day. Now, these technical rounds, it will first be with a junior level guy in product. He can be a product manager or an associate product manager, trying to evaluate you on basic questions. Then once you clear that, it will be with a product manager, or it can be with a senior product manager, and the third and fourth rounds will accordingly be. So all your 4 technical rounds would be actually with the product managers who had been working in that company or whose team is hiring. Sometimes it can also be with a developer if the company is very technical focused. What kind of questions you would be asked is, see, there would be behavioral questions like who are you, why do you want to come into product, why product, or what's the biggest challenge you have faced till now, what's your biggest achievement. So these are very general questions which are actually a deal breaker, because it's very important to be very good in communication and to be able to explain yourself in product interviews. So every product technical round also will start by this. So you need to be very good in your behavioral questions, brush it up. Then there are 5 type of questions that they can ask you. It can be a product design question, like for example, can you design a alarm clock for blind? It's a very generic question, but there can be product design questions. They'll ask you product improvement questions, like one very generic is, what's your favorite product and how you'll improve it. So you need to be well prepared, because these are questions they will ask you, right? The further type of questions can be, it can be a very root cause analysis kind of a question, that Swiggy's orders have dropped by 10% in past 1 week. Can you help us decode how, right? So these are the kind of questions can be there. Then there can be new product questions, like for example, Amazon wants to enter into medicine domain. They want to sell medicines now. What should we think their strategy be? So majorly these 4 category questions are there, and they can also be guesstimates, right? That how many cars are bought in Delhi in a single week. Can you help us with that figure? So all your 4 technical rounds will judge you basically on your product acumen, how you are able to navigate through that journey of explaining them, taking them through, because there is no correct answer for any of these questions, but what they see is your product approach, how you are facilitating that process. Once your 4 technical rounds are done, then if you get shortlisted, you'll have a final culture fit round or an HR round per se, when they'll try to, it will be a very generic, it will be also for you to ask questions about the company. And I would suggest always ask questions here, even in the technical rounds. If they tell you, do you have anything to ask, be curious, ask questions that how a PM works in your company, how frequently you ship products. In the HR round, ask questions like how's the culture like, how do you guys deal with ambiguous situations, how can I expect my career trajectory to be. And there would be questions that HR would ask you to just see and evaluate how culturally fit you are for that company. So I would recommend you should know the mission and vision of a company, so that you can deal in a good way with the HR rounds. And I think once these processes are done, that's when you get a final call that whether you are shortlisted or not. So just to summarize, I would put a recruiter call, product case call where you have to prepare the deck, 3 to 4 technical rounds, and would end with a culture fit round.
I really like the part, the using the existing connections, right? And also the one you told about the venture capital that most people don't know. Like you can, if you cold DM, you can close the job before it opens, right? Before they post, you get hired. Thanks a lot, Mudra, for explaining all the rounds in a crisp, clear way with examples of questions too. That helps like many people a lot. And the next question I had is, so like any resources, courses, or even any people you follow on LinkedIn, Twitter, to learn about product management, or that has helped in your journey to prepare for interviews or to learn.
So, okay. I think just repeating myself, I think no form of resources they will help you until unless you don't apply it to your real life. So you need to be very observant. So resources are just a way to show you the right path and that are you on the right path. But after resources, just be have a product mindset in real life also, right? Whenever you are using any app, I would not say every time just go deep dive into it, but just be vigilant that what's the difference if I long press and I swipe and reply? What are the two differences between the two functions? Why someone has changed it from them? Or why has WhatsApp introduced a new feature? Just think about those things. Why Instagram released Threads? Is Threads working or not? So these are very day-to-day questions which no coursework or no anyone else can explain you, but you need to have that from you. But yeah, I also understand that you need to have some resources so that you know you are not in the wrong path. So the first thing is, I think, participating in case competitions and just knowing how to make decks. Product folks in PM School are two very good resources who do this. They generally have weekly or monthly competitions when you can participate for free. You will have other people, you can participate in a team and you will know how to make those product decks, because there is no class for that, but you need to make it and you need to actually make mistakes to understand what a good deck can be. First is that recommendation. Second, I would say I have used Exponent. So they usually have a website also where they list a lot of questions based on all the domains that I have asked, right? Product design, product improvement, guesstimates, and they also have answers from other people. So you can have good discussion from there. And then YouTube video is also there. There's a playlist by the name of Product Management Mock Interviews, Product Management Prep. So that has been my source of truth when I was just starting out to get a basic flavor of how to answer product management interviews and what are the kind of questions like. So I think if you are more of a video kind of a learner that you see things and learn faster, then go for Exponent's YouTube videos. And if you're more of that person who likes to read things and understand, there is one book also like Decode and Conquer and Cracking the PM Interview. I think you can choose any one and just go via that book. It also clearly explains you the kind of questions expected, the basic framework it gives you on how you can practice those interviews. So I would say, based on what suits you, what kind of learning is better for you, you can choose either a book or you can choose the video tutorial by Exponent. Apart from that, I would say follow few PM people, right? Like Akash Gupta is there. There's Diageo Fernandos. So these are few people that I follow on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I have made my feed like that, that these people, they come on my feed so that whatever they share about product management, it's not resources for prep, but it's about basic day-to-day life of PM or any product teardowns or any problem that they see in current products. This helps to have that product mindset keep building on that. Whenever I'm opening something I'm seeing related to product and I'm forced to read that, so then definitely I start thinking in that direction. So saying that these are the resources I think you can go by. And last thing is, I think just try to get a real life experience, try to build something using what you have studied, because nothing beats that. And one very important thing that I've been seeing right now is that if you know, product manager is someone like, if a designer starts working efficiently, they design everything to the T, the developers start writing most efficient codes, and business team, they perform to their 100% efficiency, then there is no need for a PM. So it is very important that you find your footing between these three teams and see how you can navigate in making them work efficiently, and have a very good focus on your hard skills, because that is the way, even if your PM role dies, then you can pitch yourself for other roles because you know other things. Just don't be that person who becomes a communicator and communicates ki, okay, this is the feature we need to make, let's get design, let's ask the designer, he'll make and give it to dev who'll code and business team who'll pitch. but be the one who is also holding themselves responsible for it and learning a few skills, picking them here and there. So PM role is like, it if it dies also, then what you have learned from it won't die. I'm not saying PM role is going to die or anything like that, but it's very important that you just don't limit yourself to being a mediator among teams, but you actually prove that you have a footing, you have a good knowledge of all of these skills, so that you are making those teams come together and having those clear product roadmaps and product journeys defined.
Interesting. I think, yeah, trying to have like I also heard of the term the full stack PM, right? Where the PM takes care of even some marketing, discovery kind of responsibilities to apart from execution. Yeah, it's very important to develop other skills too. But apart from that, I've seen you posting a lot of content on LinkedIn, right? That's how I had reached out to you. So, how important is it to post content on LinkedIn? And what is your thought process like when you write about product management on LinkedIn? What's the thought process you follow?
Right. So I wouldn't say that in order to become PM, you need to post on LinkedIn, or there is something like that. Both are unrelated, right? LinkedIn posting is sort of when you whatever you are learning, you want to share it with others, or you want a medium to put it out. You can also write blogs on Medium. That works fine. I started writing on LinkedIn because I thought I have so much to share, and I wanted a platform where I could write, and I wanted to test my writing skills. So I started with LinkedIn. But if I would say, if you're a fresher, or if you're someone who's aiming to get into product, if you share your knowledge on LinkedIn or whatever you are learning, it'll sort of give you a visibility among recruiters that it does not guarantee you a recruiter call if you are not taking steps from your side, but it's just a way to build a proof of work for yourself, because right now social media is the way you can show that, this is the deck I have had made and this is my proof of work. So it's a good way, you can use it as a proof of work, and also increasing the visibility of your profile, because ultimately for any job landing you'll have to apply, you'll have to go through that process, but LinkedIn can just make your visibility higher. So that is where it can help you. And also when you share your thoughts, right, sometimes there is that I work on a case study and I have my opinions, but I want others also to tell their opinions and I want to have a discussion. So LinkedIn is a good way of building that community, that connection of fellow PMs, because essentially you are a product of how you surround yourself with people. Like if I have 5 people who are in the product management domain, who are working in the same, I'll definitely get influenced by them in a good way. So if I post on LinkedIn and I ask for people's opinions, I put my opinions, people will share their opinions. I'm also refining my skills, right? And apart from that, if you have a knack for content creation, if you want to share, if you want to help others with your journey, that's why I started writing. Because when I put 1 to 2 posts, I realized that, okay, there are people who are not aware of this role or how to get into it. So I started sharing more. So that is also good. If you've already went into a PM role and you want to help others, then also it's a good way. But nothing like actually going through that rigorous process of applying. LinkedIn cannot replace it. It just can just facilitate you getting that visibility and making that journey easy for you.
Got it. So I think it can help you get the job call faster. Like getting a call is a problem, but interview process we have to go through anyways, right? And the last question I had is, what are the things you enjoy being a product manager?
Few things, right? While I was working as a developer, I realized I'm working in silos, right? Every day I'm just with me and my computer screen, and I'm not getting to interact with the people. So I discovered that I like interacting with people. I like talking to them, understanding what issues they are facing. And that's how I mapped that, okay, in product management, having customer empathy, dealing with customers is one of the major part. You need to talk, you need to understand the problems and then figure out a solution. So that is one thing that I love, the ability to actually not work in silo but have a very interactive environment around you, because as a PM you'll have meetings throughout the day, but that's when you will realize that how by a proper communication you can actually help people, right? So I think first is that the communication part and the kind of activity that goes in a PM's life throughout. Second would be, I would say, working in ambiguity, right? I don't have my days fixed, the days planned that, okay, tomorrow these are the things I have to work. I have that, but a lot of things just come on the spot that, this is not working. This customer is very unhappy. What to do? How to deal with it? So that challenges me on going out of the box and pushing my limits and thinking that, okay, how can I solve it? Third is if you're a very creative person and if you like working in multi-stakeholder environment where there are different people, different flavors that you deal with daily, then PM role can be for you. That's how I realize that I have a creative side in me who wants to think out of the box, who wants to think for solutions, who wants to solve for people. So that is another thing. And fourth is if you can't define one interest for you. If you are like, I have interest in so many things. I like this also. I like designing. I like some part of coding. I like to make solutions for people. I like talking also. Everything I like. So then you can think about a PM role because here essentially you are doing everything, right? So these are the things that actually pushed me that okay, PM role is something that can be for me.
Got it. I think ambiguity is the most interesting part, right? No, not other roles have it compared to a product manager. Other roles might have a very defined task in most of the cases. But yeah, that's something very interesting, and that's part of your day-to-day job, like ambiguity. Uh, and yeah, I think thanks a lot, Mudra. I think you have we discussed about a lot of topics, and you had answered all the questions with very crisp and also with examples. And thanks a lot. Before we close the podcast, do you want to say something to the audience?
I think first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It was my first time also doing this, so I really enjoyed. And I think if it can help in any way, even one person, I think that's when our job is done. And I think to anyone who is watching, I would just say that um, just take action, right? Don't just talk to people and be like, I can get into PM role by that. Action, make action, take action on it from today itself. Because if you will start today, you can be a PM in next 1 month or next 2 months. But if you just think about it and think within yourselves only and not start, then you'll not reach anywhere. Because to reach, you have to start. So I think that is the major thing that I would say. And I would say just be observant about the products around you, be empathetic to people because a lot of PM skills are actually your real life skills. PMs test you for that only. So if you are empathetic in your day to day life, if you think about people's problem, you try to solve them, then there is no better skill that you need, right? If you are going to do that, other skills are just cherry on the cake for you to become a product manager. I think that's how I would like to end it.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Mudra.